Hey there, I'm Riven, and I'm back to continue the story of how and why we are in this new timeline. But before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us stay on track and gives us the ability to grow so that we can continue to bring you more quantum content. If you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never glitch a drop. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you for watching. Once the powers that be understood that we could easily be controlled, they ran with it. Lies about weather balloons and wars quickly became a narrative they controlled about everything we consumed, everything we owned or would own, including our money. And the collective swallowed it down without question, out of trust for the government and out of fear of the unknown. And the true code of control is often invisible. It operates through silence and anxiety. You are not fighting simple economics. You are fighting a systematic structure of psychological warfare. The ruling powers understood that a broad economic system was inefficient for control. They needed a precise, individual tool to anchor every piece of human code to the worker bee state. That tool is debt, and the invisible leash is the credit score. You need to ask yourself this: why do you accept that debt is the default state of adulthood? Because of all of this, Gen Z can't even move out of their parents' house. And no matter how much you love your parents, no one wants to live with them as an adult. Talk about the American nightmare. The credit system you know was strategically engineered, not naturally evolved. Before the mid-20th century, credit was managed primarily by personal character and local reputation. In community, connection. You possessed freedom of movement. But starting in the 1950s, the system manufactured dependence with installment plans and by consolidating local records into national credit bureaus. This was the initial framework for the information lock. The final lock was the FICO score in 1989. This three-digit number became the singular, non-negotiable master key that grants or denies access to the SIM's most basic needs: housing, transportation, and even certain employment. Because if you never truly own something, then you have nothing to fight back with. These days, you need a subscription to operate everything you have. You never own it. We must question the design itself. Some people still believe that the three-digit score is universal, but that is a lie. Question this: why is the American system so uniquely harsh compared to the rest of the world? Look at the facts. Why does the US FICO master key, tracking every detail of your life, exist in its current punitive form? The data file tracks far more than just payments. Why do countries like Japan and the Netherlands often lack a formal credit score entirely? They assess credit based on simple income and personal banking relationships. And in Germany, why do you start with a perfect score that only drops as you take on debt? The severity of the US system, forcing you to constantly earn a score, proves the economic lock is not a necessity of finance, but a strategic design to trap the human code in perpetual beta anxiety. So question this: is the system designed to make you financially stable or mentally dependent? The primary function of the credit score system is the maintenance of the low-frequency state in the collective consciousness. Debt is the mandatory operating frequency of the worker bee. The entire architecture ensures you remain locked in a perpetual state of beta brainwave activity, the chaotic, high-stress frequency of anxiety and worry. Your mind is not free to pursue the quietude necessary for theta or gamma synchronization, because it is constantly calculating interest, proving about payments, and monitoring that omnipresent three-digit score. The system actively monetizes failure through predatory high interest rates, profiting most when the individual is stressed, vulnerable, and struggling. They get richer while you work 3 jobs to pay for a house you can't afford and should be given as a birthright. A minimum wage that has not been raised since 2009. All the time blaming yourself for somehow missing out on the American dream. You get angry, you self-medicate, you lash out at the ones you love, and it's all by design. The credit score ensures that your attempt to break the economic lock, for instance, leaving a toxic job for spiritual pursuit, results in a low credit rating, which is immediately used to deny you housing or transportation. It forces you back into the high-friction, work-for-the-machine loop. The system guarantees that your entire life focus is directed toward the external mechanism of the SIM, completely distracting you from your internal source code. They ensure you work until death, never having been free to achieve a higher state of consciousness. And now, they want less education for our children. Higher education is coming at a higher price that the worker bee can never obtain. All so that you will never get a chance to be more, even if you tried. So ask yourself this: why are you still letting them do it? If someone was standing with a boot on your neck and you could barely breathe, if you had any fight left in you, wouldn't you fight?